I got scammed out of $1.25 million, and now MrBeast offers a 100K reward for anyone with information about the scammer. And everything takes place in this group chat with YouTube superstars MrBeast and Mark Rober, streamer giant Adin Ross, the billionaire Tobi Lutke, founder of Shopify, and the billionaire Ed Craven, founder of Stake. And I feel both stupid and ashamed telling this story, but I'll do it anyway, showing you exactly how I got manipulated with lots of print screens. This story starts with me getting a call from an unknown number. I pick up, and it's MrBeast, and I'm taken aback by this. So, me and Jimmy, we met a few years ago when I donated $1.2 million to Team C's, but we haven't spoken since. And in the background of the call is Mark Rober, and together they ask me if I want to donate money to build wells in Africa and help people get clean water. I'll tell them that I'll think about it, and Jimmy sets up this group chat. I take a few days to think, and then I write back, okay guys, I'm in. Jimmy asks what number I'm thinking, and I tell him $1 million, and he replies like this. And that gif is just amazing. And the next day, Jimmy posts on Twitter that Eric from Great.com just donated 1 million years of clean water. And about a week after that, I get a message on my personal phone number saying, "Greetings from Team Water. We would like to express our sincere gratitude for your generous support." And they wrote a lot more than this. And I posted all the chat logs straight on the homepage of Great.com if you want to see them. And they continue. "We would like to invite you to join Jimmy's and Mark's private chat group for a special circle of supporters." And then I'm invited to this group called Team Water Top Gs. And I'm just laughing when I see that name because it feels like such a Jimmy name to put on a chat group with the biggest donors. And I'm joining in the middle of the conversation, and the first thing that I see is this voice message
Always
from
being
Jimmy.
sick, and I just spent 4 days in a hospital in South Africa because I
So
got
he
the
talks
flu,
about
and it
being
just makes
sick
me
and then
alone.
some other stuff. And then Mark Rober chimes in. And then I see Adin Ross. And seeing Adin in the chat, that's just cool. He is this superstar streamer, and I've seen him interviewing Donald Trump. And after that, Tobi Lutke writes. And if you don't know Tobi, he is this guy, the $12.6 billion founder of Shopify. And then Ed Craven writes. And he is this old. And he's got this much money. Now just imagine, how would you feel if you were in a chat group with these guys? Like, I can't believe that I am in this group. I just keep looking at my phone. And they are messing around. They have this good banter going on, just having fun. And I write something, and then I delete it because it doesn't feel cool enough. And then I write the exact same thing, and I delete it because it's still not cool enough. And I got this nervous and excited feeling in my body. And I realized thinking back that I was feeling just like a 13-year-old boy, just wanting to fit in with the cool kids. And then Jimmy shifts the energy of the conversation to a more serious tone, writing, "Okay, guys, let's go. First and foremost, I would like to sincerely thank each and every one of you for the support that you have provided." And then he goes on to tell us about the purpose of this chat group and some upcoming charity projects. And then he invites us all on a trip to Malawi to see the opening of their new wells there. And I get super excited about this. Going to Africa and see wells like this is a long-term dream of mine. And to be able to do it with these guys, that's just bonkers. So I immediately jump on this opportunity. And then I start talking to Jimmy's assistant about the details. And the next day, Jimmy writes to tell us that he has exciting news. "We've signed a deal with Coinbase. In exchange for advertising, we will be able to buy in early on their new coin." And then he goes on to tell us that as a thank you, anyone who have donated more than $1 million to Team Water will be allowed to partake in this together with him. And the billionaire Ed Craven gets excited. And I know he's a huge crypto guy. Personally, I don't know much about crypto, so I'm not that excited. And then Tobi Lutke writes, in a more hesitant tone, feeling pretty much like me. But then Mark Rober comes in with a very convincing tone, basically saying that this is an amazing opportunity. And then Jimmy writes again, "Seed sale price will be 15 cents for us. They will launch on public sale at 58 cents. And basically what all of this means is that Coinbase, one of the largest crypto sites, would launch their own coin, like Bitcoin. And thanks to a big marketing deal that MrBeast have done, we would all be allowed to buy in early with a huge discount." I've only really done crypto once before. It was back in 2018 and I ended up losing about $1 million. So big part of me don't want to do this at all. I'm scared of crypto. I don't know how these coins work. Another part of me really wants revenge and finally get some of that money back. But this is important and it's hard to admit. But thinking back at this situation, I realized that the most important part in me, the one that's making decisions right now, is that feeling of being like a 13-year-old boy who just wants to belong with the cool kids. If they are excited, I want to be excited. And the price to join here is $750,000. And Mark Rober says that he's in, putting $750K on the table. And then Adin Ross joins, adding up to a total of $1.5 million. And then Tobi, and then Ed. Like I said, I don't know crypto, but I trust Jimmy and I trust Mark, and I do believe that the rest of the guys knows what they're doing. And I also don't want to be the only one going on this trip to Africa that didn't join in on the investment. But I don't have this kind of money in crypto, and they said the money needs to be transferred in the next few days, so unless I solve that, I'm gonna miss out. So I call a friend. Let's call him Bobby. He's the only one that I know that can get me this kind of money in crypto quickly. And I tell him about the group chat, I tell him about the trip and how excited I am, and I tell him about this crypto project. And he gets really excited, saying if MrBeast is backing this and these guys are in it early, this can be really good. And then he asks me if he can join in, and I say sure, and he can have some of my part. Then he has lots of questions. So I'm connecting him to MrBeast assistant Ellie, and I'm skipping those details here, but if you want to read them, they're all on the homepage of great.com. It takes a few hours, and then Bobby calls me back and he says, okay, let's go for it. And we trust the judgment of the group. And then Bobby gets the address to a crypto wallet, and within a few hours, he has sent $750,000. This has all gone so fast. I've barely stopped to think. And honestly, I'm just still starstruck. And the next day, something crazy happens. The assistant writes in the group chat that there's been an issue with Ed's transaction and that his money has been sent back. Ed gets frustrated about this and asks if it can get fixed, but he's told no, that it's too late and that the round is closed. And I get shocked seeing this. They turned down a billionaire? And then Jimmy writes in the chat again. There will be a second round to invest. This time the price is 30 cents per coin. And then he says, Ed, you can be in on this one. This time the price is 500,000 and Ed jumps on it. And once again the chat goes hot. And Mark is in and Adin joins as well. That's another $1.5 million. So I call Bobby. And I tell him about how they turned down the billionaire, how he wanted in on 15 cents but was too late, and that they opened a new round on 30 cents, and how everyone seems to join and that it's selling out fast. Once again, we fall for it. Within a few hours, Bobby has sent another $500,000. And then Jimmy writes again. The price for the last round is 45 cents. Once again, the chat goes hot. Everybody jumps on it. I call Bobby, and we fall for it again. But just as we're about to send the money, I get this feeling. I'm looking closer at my phone. And then I see Adin Ross's phone number. That's a British phone number. But he's American. That's weird. Is this fake? But I've talked to Jimmy about it. It should be real. So I'm looking closer at the details with Jimmy. And I see that it's not the same number he had when he called me a few weeks ago. So I'm sending him a text message to his first number just to confirm everything. And he replies, hell no. What is that? Damn, they're scamming your ass. So I call him and I say, please tell me that you're fucking kidding me. But he's not. It was all a scam. The first phone call and the fundraise for clean water, that was all real. But then someone must have seen Jimmy's tweet about the donation, somehow got a hold on my personal phone number, and then created a scam targeted directly at me. Everything after the tweet was fake. No one in the chat was real. And I feel so stupid. And I feel so ashamed. And I've been to the police, but they haven't made much progress. So I don't have much hope for justice. But then I wrote about this on Twitter, and Jimmy replied like this. Anyone who gives us information that leads to an arrest, I will reward you with $100,000. So now I turn to the internet. Right on the homepage of great.com, we have posted the chat logs, phone numbers, and crypto transactions. There's also a form where you can upload any evidence or things that you might know. And the more people that knows about this story, the harder it is for scammers to succeed with things like this. So please, if you are a writer, write about this story. And please, link to the page with the evidence and mention the reward. Or if you know someone that can write about this story, please tag them. Thank you for watching.